Hello everyone, today I'm going to be going over the best level 100 gear for fire and also where to get everything just like always. I look like a bit of a goon here wearing all this stuff unstitched, but you know what, let's go ahead and start. We're going to make this real fast. At the hat, the charred mantle of the burn, this is going to be from the galleries. We can also compare that to Malastairs and we see that it's just a huge upgrade. I mean, you're getting more health, you're getting block, you're getting less resist, but I mean, that doesn't really matter. One less pierce, which is completely fine. You're gaining 6 fire accuracy, losing a bit of crit, but gaining 10 damage. The myth damage and pierce doesn't really matter that much, as well as the wildfire, but that's completely okay. I mean, you could also look at the Crocopatra hat, but I think compared to the gallery hat, it's just not even a question which to go with. The downside of the gallery hat is that it doesn't give any power pip percentage, but you can make up for that by socketing power pip jewels, which is not the hardest to get, but it's also not the easiest. You are going to have to be level 105 to be able to get 100% power pip, but you can still get 99% power pip. I'll show you in a bit. It does sound a little weird. As for the robe, I do have the Robes of Malastairs Ire. Compared to the gallery one, it's not even close to which one I would recommend. You'd also need to get the Malastair robe in order to get 100% accuracy, as well as anywhere close to 100% power pip. So I think using the Malastair robe is the no-brainer call here. Moving on to the boots, I have the Galleries boots. These are actually insane. We can look at the Malastair one, but you're getting more health. Obviously losing that power pip, that's kind of the caveat to the gallery gear. You're going to get the same resist, you're going to lose 1 accuracy, but again, that's okay. Your pierce is going to stay the same, but you're going to gain the 84 crit and 5 damage. Again, the myth stats don't really matter here. Moving on to the wand, I have the Sword and Shield of Embers, again, as the no-brainer pick. There's not anything else that comes close to this, and it's a free-to-play option, which is great. 19 fire damage, 6 pierce, block, and crit. Just insane. Always go for these. For the theme, I have the Edge of the Raging Daystar. This is, of course, from the Graveyard, the first boss, and I would recommend using a power pip jewel here, not an accuracy jewel, just because you're already going to have 100% accuracy without using the jewel slot, but you are going to be lacking in that power pip percentage, so definitely socket that. Of course, you're going to get 2 accuracy from this, you know, and 16 damage, so it's basically the best that you can get. You could look at the retired Morganth theme, but you know, I'm not gonna say to go for this as the best, because I mean, you're only gaining 1 damage, and that's not really worth it for the 2 power pip and the 2 accuracy. So definitely go with the Graveyard one, which you can still farm for. For the amulet, I have the Shane amulet, the Talisman of the Daystar. This gives 4 pierce, 35 crit, and 4 resist. Nothing really comparable to this. You can go with the toned down version that gives 2 pierce, 2 resist, and I think 22 crit, but definitely try and farm for this. It's still used up until level 170 with the Reaver stuff that you can add 10 damage to or pierce, so definitely go with the Shane amulet. For the ring, I have the Seal of the Shadow Palace, the new version. This one gives block and crit, as well as 9 damage, which is a little bit of a decrease compared to the retired version that gives 10 damage, but you're gaining block and crit versus that. You could also go with the Alpha and Omega ring, but I think getting that extra crit is very valuable for the 1 damage that you're going to lose. For a pet, just go with either a Quint or a triple double. And for the deck, you can either go with this deck that's from a few bosses in Chrysalis. I'm not sure exactly which one, but I will link it in the description. Or you can go to this crafter and craft the triangle deck of the dragon's maw. You are going to need to craft the original dragon bone pasteboards deck, which does require a lot of motes and can be kind of difficult to craft, but you're going to need that in order to get close to 100% power pip. Let's go ahead and show you the stats here. 148 damage with a quint, 32 resist, 30 accuracy, which is spot on for shadow spells, 525 crit, which will be a little bit more if you have the level 100 crafted deck, 283 block, 31 pierce, and I think that would be a little bit higher if you socketed pierce on the ring. You're gonna have 15 incoming, which again doesn't really matter, and then this is the power pip with a 10% jewel. However, it's going to be 81% without any jewels, and at level 95 you can socket 9% to give you 99% power pip. They are a little rare. They only drop from specific bosses and mobs in Chrysalis, or you can do a few matches in the arena and get enough tickets to be able to buy it from one of the vendors there. If you wanted to look at the stats with a triple double, I can kind of show that. I don't have a maxed out version, but I do have the base stats, so just imagine 3 more damage and 2 more resist. You have 137 damage and 47 resist, so it'll be 49 resist and 140 damage. So whichever one you want to go with there, but I personally recommend to go with a quint, just because as a fire you're gonna really want the damage more than resist. If you're soloing, I guess go with a triple double, but again, it's not really necessary. I'd rather just go with the damage. But again, let me show you where to get everything at. For the hat and the boots, you're going to have to go to the galleries, which is located in the Shadow Palace. It is the dungeon right before the Morganth boss fight, and you're going to have to farm this quite a bit because the drop rates are kind of low. However, I think it is very worth it to get the best stats at level 100. For the robe and the athame, we're going to go into the graveyard. For the athame, we're going to fight the first boss until he drops it. It can be kind of difficult to get. And then for the robe, we're going to have to fight Shadow Malastare. And again, as always, drop rates can be very infuriating, but continue farming until you get it for the best stats. For the wand, we're going to go to the courtyard of the Shadow Palace and fight Moros in the Spirit Plane. And again, just like the galleries and the Morganth fight, the drop rates are pretty low. There is a pity system, but it's not the best since you have to get 9 of the tier 2 versions just to craft 1 of the tier 1 versions. So it's worth it though. I mean, look at the stats. It's 100% worth it. Farm this now. For the amulet, we're going to go to the second dungeon in Darkmoor. Go to the final boss, which you can skip to if you don't need the quest. You can just skip all the fights and go straight to Shane. And you're going to farm Shane until you get the amulet, which again, I think is worth it. If you don't want to farm for it, you can go for the 2 pierce 2 resist version, which is pretty much dropped from all the bosses in Darkmoor, so you might have an easier time getting that. However, the Shane amulet's not the worst drop rates, so I'd again recommend going for this. For the ring, we're going to be going to the exact same location as the hat and the boots, the Shadow Palace, but this time we're going to be fighting Morganth herself. Again, drop rates are very similar for the ring, but again, I think it's very worth it. If you don't want to farm for this, you could just go with the Alpha and Omega ring. And finally, for the deck, as I said earlier, you're going to go over to Harker. You're going to have to craft the Dragon Bone pasteboards first, which does have a difficult crafting recipe, but should be easy if you have a few one-shot gauntlets. And then you're going to craft the triangle socket version, which is an easier crafting recipe, but again, you do need the dragon bone pasteboards first. And that's going to be it for the best gear for fire level 100. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you have any other recommendations, be sure to leave it in the comments below. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.